You alright, guys? How's it going? Um, right. I just thought I might get used to me talking onto the camera, even though I particularly hate my voice, but I just can't be asked typing everything that I'm going to say. What I will be doing, well, sometime next week, because I've got a few more albums to listen to, um, I'll be doing a top 25, maybe 30, 35, see how it goes, albums of 2013. So, what I'm going to be doing, I know as you Facebook friends already know, I've already put um, a top five worst albums of 2013. So I'm going to do that again, just in case no one's seen it, but they probably have. Right, might as well get used to this. So might as well start off with number five, which is which was a bit of a close call between Apocalypse by Crossfaith and Hail Mary by Dark Days. So number five is Dark Days. What's the name? What's it called? Dark New Day, not Dark Days. Dark New Day. It's called. Sorry, got that wrong already. Yeah, Hail Mary by Dark New Day. Basically, it's I think it's their fourth album, or something like that. First album for when was it released? 2005, and that was entitled 12 Years. That was just amazing, no doubt about it. Not a weak track inside. Then they released a second album called Vicious something, Vicious Thinking, I think it's called Vicious Thinking, which wasn't very good at all. They were trying to sound a bit like Muse. And the third album was called New Tradition, which was better. It was like harking back to their first album, but never really, you know, never really got to the level where the first album got to. Well, actually, nowhere near, to be perfectly honest, but it still had some pretty good tunes on it. And then with their fourth album, which was released this year, well, if you could call it their fourth album, as it's mainly a mishmash of songs from the past three albums, or reworked songs. So I thought, well, it's counted as a new album, so I'll call it a new album. Yeah, there's so many things wrong with it. It just bored me to tears. Just first first three songs on the album was just incredible. Loved it, especially the first song called Goodbye. Really love that song. So, and and I was in my van listening to it, and I thought, hang on a minute, it I might be listening to an actual decent album for a change by these guys. So fingers crossed. But nope, spoke too soon, didn't I? But no, like I think there's about 11 or 12 tracks on it, but there's about nine of them that just bored me to tears, and some of the tracks were just a bit on the weird side. Hey ho! But the only reason why um, Crossfaith wasn't on the top five worst is because it's slightly better. It's a little bit better than Dark New Day, but I also class Crossfaith's new album as a bit of a disappointment because I absolutely loved the EP Zion. Absolutely brilliant. With this album, they're trying to be more like Enter Shikari, and I'm not too keen on Enter Shikari at all, to be perfectly honest. Save for a few songs, they've done pretty good songs, but I don't know. But it's not a bad album, Apocalypse. But I don't know. Maybe I need to give it a couple more listens. But it's not as bad. But it's not as bad as Dark New Day. They haven't done badly enough to make it to the top five, so to speak. Number four. Well, I'm classing this as one. Basically, it's a two album. It's part one and part two, but I'm counting it as one. It's Five Finger Death Punch with, if I could, what is it? The Wrong Side of Heaven, The Righteous Side of Hell, part one and two. Got that right. Well, technically, there's nothing really wrong with the album, but the biggest problem I have of all is it just sounds the same. It really does. When are they just going to? oh, it just winds me up. They just keep doing the same shit, album after album after album after album. It just winds me up, you know. Don't get me wrong, there's some cracking songs on them, but they're turning into Disturbed. They really are. Not by music. They're not. Because with Disturbed, to me, you play any of Disturbed's songs, say for the singles, play any of their songs, and you won't know which album it came off. That's how I feel with Five Finger Death Punch, but the talent is there. The riffs are there. There's some good riffs, you know, there's some really good moments, but come on, guys. Zhuzh it up a bit. Make me feel interested. I used to be a fan, but now you're bored me to tears, man. Seriously. Number 3, Temper Temper by Bullet for My Valentine. It's not really a bad album. It's alright. It's good, but compared to The Poison, it's a massive pile of poo. But you know, there's some cracking songs on the album. It really is. But it's just largely a band that is focusing on cruise control. You know, I feel like it's a bit of a lazy effort, Cat. It's a bit of a lazy effort on their part, because I know they could do so much better, especially with Matt Tucker's with the Axwood album. That was just amazing, you know, full of riffs, you know, double bass, you know, here, there, left, right, and centre. And I thought to myself, you know, that should have been the new Bullet album, but alas, it wasn't. You know, it's an okay album, but apparently they've just released a new song called Raising Hell, I think. I haven't heard it yet, but apparently it's they've gone back to the heavier ways in one more thrashy way. I haven't heard it, so, but I almost see that as a way of apologising to the fans for Temper Temper, maybe. So if you regret it, why do it? Why do Temper Temper in the first place? Just skip Temper Temper and go to Raising Hell. So I don't know. Seriously, guys, shape up. Number 2. Big disappointment for this. I've been a fan of this band for many years, since 2002. This is the band that kind of paved the way for me musically to heavier music. They're not quite metal, but it's Queens of the Stone Age, like clockwork. Disappointed. Again, nothing wrong with the album, but this is the album I nearly put myself to sleep. It nearly put me to sleep. It really did. It just there's some good songs, you know. Even the one with Elton John on it, you know. I thought, okay, it's not bad at all. But the best track for me is "My God Is the Sun." That's a good song. That got me a bit excited. But then I listened to the album. But it was one of the very few albums that I wished would end. Because when I want to view my thoughts on the album, I'd rather play to the end rather than just stop it at the 7th track out of the 10. But I heard Dave Grohl was going to be on this album, so that got me very excited. Songs for the Deaf, to me, is one of my all-time favourite albums, and that was the album that actually paved the way for heavier music, because to me, back then, it was quite heavy. It took me a while to get into it, but I love the heaviness of it. So, and I thought to myself, oh, could this be Songs of the Deaf Part 2? And it wasn't. No. But not wrong with the album, but just, oh god, it just didn't excite me. It just bored me to tears. Oh well, never mind. Number 1 is the biggest disappointment of all, and it was such a disappointment. It actually got me extremely pissed off. Their last album was another cat. The last album was just immense, absolutely brilliant. And then when I found out they were doing a new album, I thought, yeah. But I heard the new album, and it's a giant load of shit. And I never thought I'd say this about Hail to the King, Avenged Sevenfold. Oh, this is just a massive disappointment. I was so pissed off. You know, it's a big change in direction in the band. You know, they're just they're taking influence from Zeppelin, Sabbath, Metallica, especially Metallica. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I'm all for bands, changing the style, to go with their own sound. But there is a line, and you know, Avenged Sevenfold have far and away crossed that line. Yes, you can change your sound, but not to the point where you lose your identity. This doesn't sound like Avenged Sevenfold at all. It's shit. It really is. It really is. It's just, oh god, it pissed me off. But especially the track number 4, I think it's called "This Means War." I think that pissed me off most of all. Basically, it's Sad But 2. It's a carbon copy of. It's almost like a tribute to Metallica. Jesus Christ! Because even the title track, "Hell to the King," with Sinister Gates' lead guitar, at the start, that's a little bit like Thunderstruck by AC/DC. And to be perfectly honest, "Hail to the King," the title track, is the only good song on it. Well, half decent. But when I got to track 6 towards the end of the album, I thought things were starting to pick up a little, and I was beginning to think, maybe there's some hope. But no, no, that hope was short lived. This is a massive, massive disappointment. I never thought I'd say this about Avenged Sevenfold, because I haven't heard the first album, I haven't heard it. Wake of the Fallen, brilliant. City of Evil, brilliant. Self-titled, very good, not as good as the other two. And Nightmare, phenomenal. My personal favourite. Hail to the King. It's a skid mark in the metal scene. It's a skid mark that won't wash away. Fair play. It went to number 1 in the UK charts. Fair play. But to be honest with you, I would have given more of a shit if it was an actual good album. If it was a good album, I'd give more of a shit. But seriously, guys, get your identity back. You've lost my respect on this a bit, To the point that I really don't want to listen to your music anymore. I know that sounds a bit harsh, I'd still go back and listen a few times, but I can't really listen without that album in my mind. You served up some shit. Okay, there are many bands like, I don't know, Megadeth, Metallica. They do release some blips, like Super Collider and Risk by Megadeth. They're all blips, and Lulu by Metallica. Okay, that was a collaborative effort, but still had Metallica's name on it. That was a blip. But this A7X, this doesn't sound like a blip. It sounds more like a belch. It really is. It's so disappointed. It just and M Shadows. Seriously, stop with the Scott Weiland vocals on track 3. I thought it was almost like I was listening to either Velvet Revolver or Guns N' Roses. Seriously, stop it. Buck up your ideas and please go back to making some good music. Seriously. That's it for my top 5 worst albums of 2013. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, well, keep refreshing that Facebook button, whatever it's called, and just keep an eye out for top 25 albums of the year. Maybe 30, maybe 35. I haven't decided yet. A few more albums still to listen before I make a complete and definitive list. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.